Well, we're going to be making our insole. Insoles are usually made out of full thickness shoulder leather. You could also make it out of back. Today I'm going to be making it out of back leather that's rather hard, that's leather that's intended for building up a heel or building an outsole. And it's definitely a harder leather to work. It's stronger than shoulder, but I would prefer it if you use shoulder because it's safer to work with. You actually have to be pretty dexterous to cut a feather, carve a feather into outsole. It'll work though in a pinch, and I don't want to hold the video series up or the project shoe, so I'm going to be making it out of back leather today instead of shoulder leather. But anyway, a couple notes on cutting. So I've traced a shape that's generously proportioned larger than it needs to be so that I have plenty of leather. And you have to be very careful when you have a sharp blade and you're cutting this thick leather. It can be easy to hurt yourself. So you try to hold it like I am and use like a drawing motion. You know, don't like push really hard. One rule that I personally have for safety is if you're using a lot of strength, you're doing something wrong, and you're going to get a trip to the hospital because you're pushing hard and then the blade might cut you. So just nice and easy does it. You shouldn't be pushing into the leather. You should be gently like pulling the blade through the leather, like almost like a drawing motion, and that will get it done. All right. This is going to get soaked in water, and it will become soft and workable for carving the feather. So I'm going to immerse this in water. And because we're using back soling, it will still have quite a bit of body to it, and we don't need to dry it out. But if you're using shoulder, shoulder is softer and fleshier, and after you totally immerse it and get the leather soaked with water, you have to partially dry it out again so that it's not too soft and mushy. You can almost make it so that it's nearly gelatinous in texture, and you don't want that. But with this with this really strong leather, it won't be an issue at all. I can make it as wet as I want it to be. Okay, here's our wet piece of leather that's going to become the insole. We're going to nail it onto the last. Okay, I've hammered nails all over it to get it to move in the shape of the last, and now I'm going to start hitting it with the shoemaking cobbler's hammer, French hammer. See it. The leather is now wet and extremely pliable, so it's very easy to shape it. So I'm going to shape it first, and then I'm going to cut it on the feather line. The feather line is the point at which the last transitions to the bottom of it. And you've heard me mention carving a feather, which is something a little bit different from the feather line. Feather line refers to that region of the last where it transitions to the bottom, but the feather is a ridge that the inseaming or welting is sewn into. Now I'm going to cut our insole. If you were trying to do this while the leather was dry, it would be extremely dangerous and it would be extremely hard. Not impossible. Always assume that your knife is going to cut and suddenly move very quickly. And then that way you will never cut yourself because you're already prepared for it. Never cut like this, ever. You will end up in the hospital. You will slip and you will cut your finger off. Cut where you pull in a drawing manner like this, and you're not going to cut yourself. And you'll be better at cutting. I'm avoiding these nails here, so it's a little slow going. I'd rather slow down a little bit and not make a mistake than make a mistake. Now, where you choose to make the arch is a matter of taste. On this pair, I want to demonstrate how to make a very narrow London waist, so I'm really bringing in a lot. And we're going to make a very narrow feather so that we can do a scraped, formed waist that really shows off the elegance of the shoe. So I decided to really take it into the maximum amount. You can leave more of it and have it go up the inside of the shoe and carve it down so that it's elegant looking but hidden. Where you put your feather is important too, because that will be the most that you can take the welting in. So here is a view of what we have so far right here. Alright, I've drawn the outline of the feather only a couple millimeters deep around the insole. Next we'll come cutting away and making the first cuts, and there's a tool that's ideally suited for this called a feathering knife that looks like a chisel with a little guide on it. I'll include a picture of it, but you won't have one of these, and I've never had one, but I intend to get one sometime. But we're making a shoe with a knife, fork, and spoon, as they say, so we'll just be using a knife and maybe a wood chisel or something, and I'll show you how to do that. So first cut, and then a careful second cut. So I'm starting to cut away at the leather with this chisel. Shoulder leather is a little easier to work with. This leather is more durable, but if you can do it with this leather, you'll be able to have a much easier time with shoulder. And again, do be careful. You know, don't rush and harm yourself. Or as you can see now, the feather is starting to take shape, and I'm going to continue on. I'm using this little V-shaped chisel to go like this. I'm going to continue doing that and also clean it up with the blade. And I have this flat chisel that helps me to clean it up. So I'm going to continue on and show you as the progress. Sometimes I take it off the last so I can work on a board on a flat surface to get it the last bit. And you can keep wetting the leather to keep it soft and to help the blade slip through it. And you can also make small cuts, you know, as you go, very gentle, and that'll help your chisels move. But don't cut through it. That can happen where you can come through the other side and then you have to start over, which is not fun. So anyway, I'm going to finish this up and then put it back on the last again and show you the finished feather. Alright, here's the feather, and I've put the insole back on. Now I'm going to hit it, and I'm going to try to compress the fibers to follow the form of the last and give it a nice shape, because this will determine the shape of the shoe. So here is the completed insole. So we are getting close to making the shoe now. All right. Well, our next step will be lasting the shoe for the second time, where I'll go over the technique of lasting, and then we have to put the stiffeners in. So this has been Andrew Wrigley. I hope this has been some help to you, and keep clicking and skiving.